Welcome back to more Explorers of Darkness. Last time we combed the desert, but we ain't found shit. And, well, this time we're just gonna continue looking for a while. Yeah, our character probably should have mentioned that when we were actually there instead of, waiting a whole entire day, but I also find it a little funny how quickly she's willing to just immediately trust our intuition when we say we had that feeling again, although, considering, another fact that the Dimensional Scream ability has an actual name, and we've seen it help out so many different times, I guess it would be pretty stupid of her to not just instantly trust us. Wow, we finally broke... Oh, well, no. I thought we would have over 10,000 money at this point, but we are just barely under it. But that's okay, because now we can actually afford good TMs, so let's see if there are any good TMs. Well, I mean, if this was Rescue Team, Frustration would be pretty nice. I don't know, maybe Frustration is still good for the level resets that actually let you bring items in, I don't know. Our inventory is also looking pretty good. We don't really actually need to organize it at all, I don't think. Well, we need some food, so we can just grab that real quick. This next dungeon is definitely gonna be a bit of a doozy. I think 2 apples should be enough. We'll also quickly just check the green kek, although no, there's nothing really useful there. Power Band being 2,500 gold is kind of insane, considering how common it is as just a random thing to pick up in dungeons. But anyway, this next dungeon is definitely going to be a bit of a pain, and it's because Sand Veil is an ability from Hell. So hopefully we won't have to struggle too much with that. The Sandstorm in this next dungeon is definitely going to be more frequent and annoying than it was in the previous dungeon. Well, actually, I'm not sure it's so bad at this part of the dungeon. Oh shit. Jump in the Quicksand Pit challenge. Hashtag jump into the pit challenge. Oh my god. We did it, we flashed back to the waterfall scene. I wonder how many more times we're going to be doing this throughout the game. I'll call her. This is a fairly, relevant moment, be having a flashback to that, of course. I find it a little amusing how the waterfall scene in particular is one that they flash back to very frequently. Oh, there we go. I'm impressed by areas like this little map right here that, this is the only time in the entire game you're ever going to see it, and yet it's so high quality. Well, there's not very many animation frames, to be honest, but it still looks it looks really nice for a spot you're only gonna see once ever, right? Assuming you don't play through the game again, of course. Anyway, Quicksand Cave. Definitely harder than Northern Desert, that's for sure. Quickly gear up. It's really just more ground types. We don't really need these thorns, so we're just gonna have to swap them later. Oh, this is the dungeon that has Scorpion. I thought it was Northern Desert that had Scorpion, and I guess it's this one. I'm just kind of stupid, but Yeah, Sandslash is going to be an absolute fucker in this dungeon, for the same reason that Cacturn was in Northern Desert, and that's because Sandveil is a very stupid ability. Just boost your evasion when there's a sandstorm, which is, like, obviously just, that's insane. Especially considering, you know, that's stacks with the fact that, I assume that stacks with female Pokemon having higher, like, accuracy and evade. So if we're on, like, an odd number floor, I'm sorry, an even number floor. If we're on an even number floor, and we are up against a bunch of Sandveil users, it's gonna be really miserable. Speaking of miserable, yeah, we're gonna have to worry about more pin missiles coming from Scorpia. Quite a few tanky Pokemon in this dungeon already, my lord. Jupiter is a crazy Pokemon to have show up, I feel like. This is all going to be pretty manageable until the sand kicks in, at which point then it's actually going to get pretty significantly difficult, I'll say. But otherwise, it shouldn't be anything too crazy, hopefully. See, stuff like this that makes me glad I still have Peck, although, to be honest, once I get Flamethrower from a TM or something, just replacing Peck. Look at that, more grimy food, oh, yummers. Who knows, maybe we won't end up needing to use it at all. I don't know how quickly I want to go through this dungeon. I don't remember how long it is. But again, aside from Sandveil, there's still, like, Sandveil and Pin Missile, aside from those, there's nothing super crazy here, so I don't mind sticking around and checking out all the floors, but at the same time, like, I don't know, I might just, I guess it'll just be however I'm feeling whenever I find the stairs. That was really good. That was a really good Pin Missile from Grimo, because there's an enemy attacking from behind, and we didn't even have to deal with it. Like, he's doing it again. Okay, well, that's definitely way less of a good Pin Missile, because he just missed that many times in a row. Uh-oh. I believe in part of Zero Isle South, Scorpia, like, for a few floors it can spawn, and it is a total menace to fight against there, because... Aw, that's not good. Well, Polybow's fucking dead. No? Oh my god, that was very lucky. That was very, very lucky that he didn't just die there. Yeah, Scorpion can be a total menace in a few floors of Zero Isle South, because he just does exactly that. He just attacks you from a dark hallway with Pin Missile, and you just die. And he's a bug type, which means, you know, there's stab coming off of that Pin Missile as well, so it hurts extremely badly. I'm not sure if there's any good items to be found, or anything super noteworthy to be found in this dungeon. So, again, we'll probably just be a mix of just gunning straight for the stairs and just taking it a bit slower and exploring and just seeing what's here. If we get a monster house, though, that is going to be pretty annoying for sure. Speaking of pretty annoying, holy shit, that did a bunch of damage. I didn't get trapped by that. I don't really know what the mechanics of trapping moves are in this game. If that didn't trap me, it's a little weird. I'm not complaining, of course. I don't feel like dying here, you know. Crush Claw. I guess starting in Gen 4 stuff other than Zangoose does get Crush Claw, huh? It's a very rare move. It's one of those moves in mainline where it's just, like, totally outclassed by, like, Return and stuff. So there's pretty much no reason you would ever be using it, but something like PMD, that typically matters way less, you know? Occasionally you see very strange moves like that here in PMD that you would never ever see get used in mainline. I mean, hell, you have stuff like Bubble. It's just like a total early game filler move in mainline that you just stop using the moment you get something better. Meanwhile, in PMD, Bubble is like one of the better water moves that ends up staying relevant for like literally the entire game. You can be level 100 and throwing out bubbles and get good results. Mawile. Nice. Probably not that... Ooh, nice. I like Mawile. It's very cute, although probably not that big of a deal. I don't know. In mainline, it's like, it sucks, but of course PMD is very different. I'm not sure how good it is. It has Intimidate still, but Intimidate is like not nearly as crazy in this game as it is in mainline, I don't think. Eat some grime before we move on. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Now, Intimidate, I want to say, just like drops like the physical attack of adjacent attackers or something, which is really not that big of a deal. let's get a chance to actually throw some of these thorns. There we go, that's actually some pretty good damage. It's pretty great damage, actually. You know what's not pretty great is the fact that... Oh, wait, we did get EXP for that. Never mind. I'm stupid. I don't know why. For a second, I thought we got no XP for that. Yeah, those, the Pupitars are not a big deal for enemies. Like, they're not very threatening, but they are an ill omen of things to come. Because, you know, the natural progression of PMD games is that as you get deeper in the dungeon, you start fighting the evolved forms of enemy Pokemon, typically, or like as you progress through the game. My point being that Pupitar evolves into Tyranitar, who's going to be an absolutely gigantic pain in the ass. That's because it's strong. It's going to be pretty tanky for sure, especially since I'm a fire type. Going to be, you know, kind of annoying to deal with, but it's because it has Sandstream, which means we're going to be forced to deal with Sandstorm sooner or later. And, you know, Sandslash is still going to be spawning with Sandveil, so this stuff is, you know, potentially going to get very messy very quick if we get unlucky. Knockoff, that's a little bit annoying. I find it very strange that Knockoff doesn't do any damage in this game at all. It just, like, makes the target drop their item. Wow, there's already a midpoint. That was pretty fast. I'm not complaining, though, because we didn't have to go through any food other than the random grimy food we picked up. We didn't really have to use any items at all other than throwing some thorns, so we didn't really lose any progress or momentum or anything there. Now, this second half of the dungeon, Quicksand Pit, this is where it's going to start being a pain in the ass, because, like I just insinuated earlier, this is where Tyranitar is going to start showing up. And he is an annoying fucker, to say the least. Again, because Sandstream is going to be stupid. Speaking of things that are stupid, is Geopebbles with only 10 damage not going to cut it very well anymore. Now might be a time to start trying to hoard Graveler rocks that we can find just as a replacement. That's for, you know, being barely effective, that Poison Jab still did pretty good damage. And even like a Focus Energy boosted. Was it? That was a crit. Wait. Yeah, that was a crit and it still didn't one-shot. That's a bit disappointing. You know, that reminded me. Yeah, I remember reading this somewhere recently. I had no idea until I read it, but apparently if you hold L plus B, or like if you hold L and you press B, instead of opening the menu, you skip straight to the message log. I never knew about that for the longest time, so I'm gonna have to actually, like, I'm gonna have to remember that and start applying it, because that is pretty convenient. Hope that Mawile actually walks closer. Yeah, there we go. I'm perfectly okay with it just, like, spamming Sweet Scent for no reason, because, like, I don't really care about that. Like, using Sweet Scent, I mean, getting evasion lowered is kind of annoying, I guess, but it really doesn't matter. Oh boy, yep, here we go. Here's the Sandstorms. Well, this next half of the dungeon is gonna take fucking forever because of this. I can live with, like, the extremely annoying weather damage animation. It's really fucking annoying, obviously, but I can live with this, right? It's the Sandslashes that are gonna be the death of me. Just, again, hope we don't have to put up with any. Oh, that Iron Thorn did not do very much. Let's just keep spamming them to get them out of the inventory. Uh-oh. I hope the enemies don't have enough IQ to use items yet. Yeah, I guess not. Ooh, this is not a very good lore configuration. I really do not want to get pin missiled. Not very good, man. It's looking pretty awkward very quickly. Okay, thank you for being merciful, Scorpy. And more succulent grime to hold us over for the road trip. Ooh, and I guess we're getting silver spikes now. See, what just happened there? I don't know if you saw that, but like I rotated to walk down left, and then like all my other teammates took damage first before I did. I've seen that happen a lot of times when you take weather damage, and I honestly have no idea why that's the case. Because, like, the normal order is just, you know, like you can see on the top screen, or I suppose in the bottom right of the video UI here, you can see, you know, 1, 2, 3, and 4 is numbered for our 4 party members. turn order and stuff is usually just in that order, as you can see right here. So sometimes, like, I don't know why it just kind of desyncs sometimes and does people's turns out of order. It's very strange. It's not that big of a deal. Doesn't really matter. But it's just a very strange thing I've noticed and never really, like, thought about super hard until right now. See, like, you can see it happened again. Very odd. Maybe because the, like, AI teammates are choosing to, like, skip their turn. And so that fucks with the team order. The turn order, I'm not sure. But I guess Hippopotas is here as well with Sandstream. Although he's... shouldn't really be that big of a deal. I guess maybe it has Sand to him. I have no idea what the Things Learned set looks like. And you know, Hippopotas is just such a strange Pokemon as well, because something that always confused me a lot about it and, like, Hippowdon is the fact that, like, they're in, you know, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, of course, and the only place you can catch them in the game is there's the one cave south of Veilstone, like the Ruin Maniac tunnel, where he's trying to find all the unknowns. And, like, Hippopotas only spawns in that cave, with the spawn rate increasing the more unknown variants you've seen. Which is very bizarre to me, considering, like... oh shit. Okay, that was a bit rough looking, but we're good. What was I saying? It's so weird to me, because I'm not sure what that cave has anything to do with Hippopotas. Or, like, you know, Unknown. I have no idea what Hippopotas has to do with Unknown at all. So I'm not sure exactly why he's there. And I'm also not quite sure, like, there's a literal desert area in the post-game, and Hippopotas and Hippowdon don't even spawn there at all, so I have no idea what's going on. Very, very strange decision. I mean, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, especially Diamond and Pearl, are extremely strange games, where a lot of the decisions made during development are pretty much just totally arbitrary, if you ask me. I don't know. I guess in PMD, there's, like, nothing really significant about those two, though. I mean, naturally spawn in a desert like this, as you would expect. It's just very strange they went through the trouble of making a whole desert area for the post-game of Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and making, like, a sand-themed Pokemon and then just not putting it there, you know? Yeah, instead you get fucking Dugtrio showing up in that area, and, you know, just being really fast and having Arena Trap, and generally just being extremely annoying. I think I would have much preferred if Hippowdon just spawned there instead. I would have been okay just transferring up a Dugtrio. Annoying bastard. That desert area in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum is just very strange as well, because something I found funny about it is, like, the swarm encounter for that area is Beldum, and Beldum has the catch rate of, like, a legendary, which means it's a wild Pokemon that is damn near impossible to catch and will take you fucking forever. Really funny considering Dialga and Palkia in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum have, like, very high catch rates for legendaries, so it is, like, significantly easier to catch them. I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but I just find that weird and amusing. What's not amusing is this room was a little suspect at first. Ooh, Bubble Beam. It's interesting. Honestly, you know what? I'm not even gonna bother. Bubble is honestly better just because it has more PP. Water Gun is, like... I think Water Gun is fine instead of Bubble Beam, even though it's not ranged. Knockoff, we definitely don't need that. Knockoff, I've said this about a few moves before in this game, but Knockoff, like, 100% a move for the enemy to just use on you to just, like, annoy the shit out of you. Speaking of annoying the shit out of us, here we go. Yup, Sandslash just dodge tanking 3 attacks in a row because it has Sandville. Oh my god, man, no! This is kind of what I was talking about. Sandslash is an absolute menace because of this shit. Oh my god. Pray that you don't encounter more than one of those at a time. We were in a nice big open room with no other Pokemon in it, so this Sandslash was, you know, pretty fine to deal with, but God forbid you get a fucking monster house or something and several of them spawn. Like, what do you even do, man? It is absolutely brutal. We're actually very lucky that, despite this being an an even number floor, there was actually no, like, there's no sand setup because there's no Tyranitar or Hippopotas on the floor yet, which means, hopefully, we don't have to deal with too much dodge tanking from Sandslash. There we go. This is probably something we'll end up seeing at least once while we're in here, is, like, sand getting activated in the middle Yup, exactly like that, interrupting my sentence. Yeah, Tyranitar or Hippopotas spawn somewhere, and they have Sandstream, which means the sand just gets set up immediately. Fun stuff. Very fun. What else is there to even say about this dungeon? I don't know. Other than just getting fucked over by weather damage and Fan Slash, this dungeon isn't really significant at all, I don't think. There's nothing special here. I guess the dungeon theme is, like, nice for this, and Quicksand Cave, but Northern Desert's theme, way better of a desert theme. Although I suppose the tone of it is also quite different. So, I don't know. This dungeon doesn't really do it for me. Again, this is probably, like, if I had to say, honestly, maybe, like, one of the least significant dungeons that appears in the game. I'm not sure. There's just really not a whole lot to say here, other than fuck Sandslash and fuck Sandville. Oh my god. Kono Power. Fucking owned. Pseudo-legendaries kneel before Skoru God. Anyway, I'm just saying dumb shit. Oh boy, here we go. Again. Fuck you, Sandslash. Ah, this is miserable. That was a good hit, though. There we go. And a deluxe box. I feel like it's been quite a bit since we've seen any boxes. I don't know. This is the only one we've got this whole dungeon. Not that I really care. I mentioned before about how exclusive items are nowhere near as ridiculous as they were in Sky. So they basically just exist to clog up inventory space, especially since, like... What the fuck is this, man? Oh my god, what is this? Not the Ninjask hallway conga line, oh my god. That's really, really bad, actually. Spamming Double Team and Screech. I don't think I've mentioned it before, so now's a pretty nice time to talk about it. Screech and a few other stat-dropping moves are very curious cases in PMD, because they have very unique effects. That being... So, what Screech does in mainline, right? I really hope I didn't mention this before and forget all about it like an idiot, by the way, but... What Screech does in mainline, of course, is that it just drops your defense by 2 stages. Of course, like, you know, nothing crazy. And it appears to do that in Mystery Dungeon. Like, I have the status debuff arrow above my head, but no, the game is lying to you. It does not just drop your defense by 2 stages. What Screech does is I believe it quarters your defense. Which means, say, if you have 100 defense, you get hit with Screech, you now have 25 defense. So, Screech is an absolutely brutal defense debuff, even if you have very high stats. Even just one Screech is enough for you to start taking, like, real damage from physical attacks. It is very scary. I believe the other moves that function this way is Charm functions this way for attack. Memento functions this way for whatever stat it drops. I want to say attack and special attack. I want to say there's one other stat dropping move that also did this unique, like, you know, divorced of stat stages, stat dropping. Like, the most significant of those is probably Screech, though. And a part of that is because, you know, one of the Pokemon that gets Screech is Kecleon. And you know what Pokemon in this game you're gonna have to beat the shit out of a whole lot of if you want to recruit it? Yeah, it's Kecleon. And, you know, Kecleon's stats are already, obviously, through the fucking roof. It's, like, extremely powerful, and is one of the more difficult Pokemon to recruit in the game, just because of its sheer, like, power. Sheer force, even. You know, not an ability in the game yet, by the way. Yeah, Screech, very, very scary move, and any Pokemon that you recruit that can learn Screech is potentially a massive boon. It's actually something unique about Meowth as a starter. I don't know if it's unique, per se, but it's definitely something strong about Meowth as a starter, is Screech, Link to Scratch, or Fury Swipes will just, like, steamroll pretty much anything. I want to say Psyduck and Rescue Team also got Screech at some point. It's a very good move. It is very, very good to Link Screech, followed by a multi-hit or just some kind of physical attack. What's not very good is getting corner sniped by Dark Pulse. What the hell? Oh. First player death of the run, and honestly, that was 100% my fault. I probably should have just thrown a Sleep Seed or something, but it's really our only Survivor Seed. Reviver Seed, even. You know what? That's a full belly heal, and, like, full PP restore. I will honestly take it. Rash, huh? God, the Dark Pulse does so much damage. Oh my god, Gremo's almost dead. Oh, you gotta do something. You're about to die, Grimo. Thank you. That was very lucky. I should have prepared a little more carefully before this dungeon. I did not realize I only brought in a single reviver seed. This could actually get extremely messy now. Uh-oh. You gotta heal me. Don't worry, bro. I will. Just for you. Have our only other Oran Berry. Okay. This might actually be the first dungeon where we're looking kind of fucked. That's not good. I didn't even know Tyranitar had Dark Pulse. Having Dark Pulse in a dungeon like this with so many corners, that's pretty fucked up, actually. Oh my god. Okay, that was really good timing as well. Ooh, that got really rough for a second there. Fantastic. Wow. I don't know, that view looks a little shitty if you ask me. The colors on that glowing object over there, that's a very weird looking light gradient. It looks kind of crappy, actually. Also, the water not being animated is a little weird looking. The water on the top screen, I should say. I don't know if this is something they redrew in Sky or not. There's a lot of little stuff they redrew in Sky. Mostly, like, I mentioned this before. It's mostly dungeon exteriors. Got slightly or totally redrawn in Sky. Oh shit, I just realized what's happening here. That's not good. See, I feel like this is a fight that could have extremely easily been avoided by just, like, actually trying to talk. It does annoy me when Mystery Dungeon does this shit. A lot of the boss fights in this game honestly feel like very contrived, where you encounter a strong Pokemon that goes, "Oh, I'm gonna whoop your ass," and then the fight just starts without you having a say in it. Anyway, so first order of business, throw Sleep Seed, of course, and move around to get everybody in position. This is very, very good. Now, hopefully we can just fucking wail on her before she gets a chance to actually attack anybody, because especially if she hits like Grimo, he's probably just gonna explode from a psychic attack, and we don't have any more Reviver Seeds, so I'd rather that doesn't happen. So let's just kick her ass. Look at that damage. Do a Pin Missile. Yes! That was so strong, man. Okay, yeah, we got this fight in the bag. I had nothing to worry about. Easy. Average PMD boss. Also, I think this might be the very first cutscene where extra party members are, like, kind of aligned with the rest of the scene and not just kind of awkwardly shoved off to the side under the text box. Oh my god. It's him. It's all over my fucking screen now. It's Grovyle. The most scary, evil villain ever, man. That's how you know this game is a work of fiction, because in no fucking universe is Grovyle one-shotting literally anything. God forbid something that resists it. Rip Mesprit, by the way. Nobody's crying about Mesprit, bro. Mesprit sucks. So fast. Well, he is fast. That's the one stat you got going for him. That's about it, though. I do like this sequence, though, where we finally actually see what happens, you know, when a time gear gets taken. Surely you can run a little faster than that, bro. I know we just somehow got our asses kicked, but surely we can run away with a little more haste and urgency. The arid area, by the way, that definitely sounds made up. I think that might be the only time they even refer to the arid area in this game. It even has like the same little text color to refer to dungeons as. Not there's, you know, pretty much any actual significance to that, really. Why didn't we just, like, pop an escape? Oh, you know why we didn't use an escape orb? Because that stupid bitch Mesper probably disables orbs just like every other boss fight in this game. That time gear was not all that difficult to find, though, to be quite honest. Like, you're telling me not a single other person ever had the instinct to just, you know, sink in the quicksand? Okay, well, I say that, but that is a pretty fucking insane thing to do, now that I think about it. I don't think anybody would be very happy to just get stuck in quicksand. And now that I think about it, how the hell do you get out? Whatever, don't think about it too hard. Oh my god, Azelf Bros, the chadliest of the Lake Trio. My savior, when I would play Pokemon Diamond as a kid, I would always speedrun to, you know, beating up Team Galactic, and then you get access to all 3 of the Lake Legendaries, and then you just catch Azelf, pop it on your team, and bam, there you go, just, like, fucks up everything for the rest of the game. Now, are those 3 anywhere near as good in Explorers of Time? That's a good question. I have never bothered using them. In fact, I imagine most people haven't bothered using them. Continuing to glaze Dustnor yet again, and nobody gives a single motherfucking shit what Doug Treo's talking about, bro. Shut your mouth. I also find it a little amusing there. She said Eastern Forest and Crystal Cave, and Eastern Forest was in plain white text, and then Crystal Cave was in, like, you know, the tan color they used to refer to dungeon names. I wonder which one we're going to next. I wonder which of those areas is relevant. Bidoof, you sack of shit, man. There's no way that Crystal is so important to you. Look. We gotta touch Bidoof. No. We gotta finally reveal our power level in front of everyone. I like that everybody just immediately believes it, by the way. I could get Bidoof just immediately believing he's kind of simple, you know. Simple, really broken ability, by the way. If only we're around a Pokemon other than fucking Bidoof and Bibarel. Oh no, I'm getting performance anxiety. Oh shit, never mind. I can get it up just fine. Outside of this vision, everybody just sees me, you know, tweaking in the corner. Wow, imagine your first seconds of screen time in this game, by the way, being jobbing to Grovyle. It's kind of embarrassing. See, what do you do, right? If your player character is like a quadrupedal mon, what if you get like Mudkip or something and you're walking on all fours? Like, when your front legs touch the ground, does that count as like activating the dimensional stream? Because that would honestly be a fucking nightmare if you just try to walk down the road and then you just have a random vision of just some random motherfuckers walking down the street. Okay, well, I do want to say at some point they say... I'm not sure, actually. I thought at some point they implied that the dimensional stream only activates in, like, the vicinity of time gears. I think I remember what... It was something, like, really dumb where they tried to hand wave it. I don't know. We'll get to that explanation when we get there. I don't remember exactly. I genuinely, like, I already said it, but I'm gonna say it again. I find it very surprising just how quickly everybody just, like, instantly believes, like, your player when the partner explains that you have the dimensional screen. I guess you have, like, Dustnor to back you up, and they are just, like, the ultimate Dustnor glazers who, you know, if he told them to jump, they'd ask how high. So, I guess if Dustnor is backing it up, they wouldn't even bother questioning it. They'll just, you know, roll with it. I feel like something else... No, maybe I'm being retarded. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, I zoned out a little and didn't read the cutscene very closely, so I'm just not gonna say anything that might make me look stupid. Really tough. Not give a fuck, bro. He's genuinely just, like, mogging the shit out of chat out right now. What the hell is Chimeko on about, bro? What do you mean charming? She let me hit because I'm autistic. Oh my god. Mogged yet again. Literally frozen in place from the shock. Right, that was fun and all. But let's call it here. Next time, let's go explore Crystal Cave, so see you then.